For most Americans, Timbuktu has long stood for, well, nowhere, a place far, far away, probably in fiction. But deep in the West African nation of Mali, where the savanna grasslands meet the Sahara, lies Timbuktu. It's an impoverished town of about 30,000, most of them nomadic traders or subsistence farmers. But Timbuktu is rich in history that contradicts a commonly held impression in the West that sub-Saharan Africa has only oral and no written traditions.
Well before there was an America, Timbuktu was a thriving center of learning with a university. Professors were teaching philosophy, theology, mathematics.
Professor El Hajj says the earliest records of Timbuktu go back to the 11th century, to a prosperous desert crossroads where salt, gold, slaves, and scholarship were exchanged. That all ended in the late 1500s with Moroccan invasions and later French conquest. Today, much of Timbuktu's architecture seems frozen, or more appropriately, baked in time. The distinctive Djingere Bear Mosque, built of limestone and mud, has been run by Imam Abramane Essayuti's family for generations. Islam is thought to have come to this region in the 8th century.
For us, this mosque is our heritage. Imagine, it was built in 1325, handed down to us by our parents. This mosque has been here for 700 years.
The 15th century Sankore Mosque was Timbuktu's nerve center of intellectual life.
On summertime, they give lecture here. You have a circle here, at least 40 or 45 or 50 students.
Well before Europe's Renaissance, students and scholars, as many as 25,000, came from West and North Africa and the Middle East to study Islamic law, theology, and a range of secular subjects. Today, the legacy of that scholarship lies in a vast, scattered collection of historical manuscripts.
Yeah, this is the library, and
the Ahmed Baba collection, named after a 15th century scholar, has some 40,000 manuscripts. Arabic was used for theological as well as secular works, testament to the Islamic world's leadership during the period in medicine and the sciences. Every now and then there's a manuscript in Hebrew. This one is a 16th century letter by a Jewish trader writing home to Morocco about market prices in Timbuktu.
The Timbuktu is really a melting pot city, where we had Jews, we had people from North Africa, people from sub-Saharan Africa, and all of them were living in peace here in Timbuktu.
So far, only a small fraction of Timbuktu's 1 million or so manuscripts has been studied. Stephanie Jacquete, a U.S.-born expert on book arts, says the works she surveyed are classically Islamic, emphasizing calligraphy, but with distinctive African influence.
They respect the precepts of Islamic art in that they're geometrically based, and use of color. Their drawing is very close to ethnic art. It's quite beautiful. The calligraphic style is very specific. It's quite easy to tell the geographic origin of the scholar by the calligraphy that he uses.
Despite a wealth of content, the priority now for scholars and manuscript owners like Abdelkader Haidara is the uphill task of saving the crumbling manuscripts. Their survival is a tribute to the ancient binders. This Quran survived a building collapse. The classic geometric artwork on its goatskin cover are still pristine on the back.
The manuscript. 17th century.
17th century.
Yeah.
Mais ça, c'est le plus ancien.
But this is the oldest one.
C'est 1114.
1114.
1114, the oldest one.
A handful of collections like Haidara's have gotten support from universities and foundations in the West to catalog, conserve, and restore manuscripts. It's tedious work and at best involves a small part of the collection. The majority of Timbuktu's volumes is precariously stored in small family collections. Abdul Wahid Haidara, who's not related, has little time, and on a teacher's salary of just $50 a month, almost no money to preserve what he calls the family's heritage. Haidara has resisted offers from foreign collectors to buy manuscripts, many of which could fetch fortunes in the West. but there's concern that people struggling to feed their families will be tempted. Timbuktu's mayor says the best way to reduce poverty is to attract more tourists, sightseers and scholars who could both highlight and preserve the historical treasure.
Timbuktu, à mon sens,
Timbuktu belongs to all of humanity, not just to the people of Mali. This is a very old learning center, a historical city which has endangered sites declared World Heritage by UNESCO. Timbuktu belongs to the whole world, and around the world, people should do something to save Timbuktu.
There's not likely to be a renaissance anytime soon. For one thing, the road to Timbuktu hasn't changed since the city's heyday in the 1500s. That is, there is no road. For Religion and Ethics News Weekly, this is Fred de Sam Lazaro in Timbuktu, Mali.